Popping to welcome to another video, and today, as you can see, we're doing another trade recap. Why I lost just a little bit over 2.6K today. Honestly, y'all can just see by the action right here. Today wasn't the best day. We looked like a lot of chop. Never really met a full draw on liquidity. Not really too much that I'm really even mad about, because I didn't take any bad setups in hindsight. I think the only thing I would have done better was probably just waiting for the macro time, which is what I usually have been trying to do more recently, just staying hands off until the first 5 to 15 minutes of the market open. That's probably the only thing I would say that I would change from today. But aside from that, I'm not really entirely mad at it. We had a lot of just back and forth action today. I'm going to show y'all right here. Excuse me, the first trade that I did end up taking was, where are we at? It was after market open. My first trade was right here. So once market open, we had this very strong move to the upside. We put in an SMT at these highs. We got this very strong inversion. Fair value. We need to delete some of this actually, so I can see a little bit better. We had this inversion fair value gap right after market open. And then if you would recognize as well, you can't really see, but we had an external change in the state as well. So from here, I am expecting, lower price. I am expecting us to come down to this external low. 15 minute, we have that low. We have this low right here. I'm expecting both of these lows to be attacked from, this inversion. And the 30-second stop was at the high. Entry on this close beneath, stop at the high, targeting both of these lows right here. Very good trade, very good risk reward. We had an SMT at the highs as well. Great quality setup. I think that the timing as well, just based off the fact that it was off market open, I was expecting to see a clean swift move to these lows, which we did not get. We did end up putting in an SMT at these lows, but I didn't really think that it mattered too much, because it looked like the overall higher time frame draw was lower. If you zoom out, we are in a very large 15-minute imbalance, BPR at that. So once I was seeing the displacement, we got the change in the state, everything that we needed right here, close beneath. I was expecting to see lower. We didn't get it. That was that first trade. The second trade I ended up taking was a re-entry on this. And this was my second and final trade of the day. I took only 2 trades today. This was a re-entry right here. I ended up getting back in after I got stopped out. Once I got stopped out right here, I ended up re-entering once we got this second close beneath, and I did pyramid on this trade. We got this close back beneath this BPR. The stop was moved to this high, targeting the same lows. And then once we did close beneath the 5-minute, I then added, a second position. Fill got moved to right here. Stop was then adjusted to this high, I believe. Really, this was a loose stop as well. In an efficient market, my stop loss would have just been above the imbalance. Once we did get that close beneath, I did expect to see that next candle to just swiftly push us down, especially based off the fact that this was the 5-minute candle based off the open. I wanted to see volume pushing us lower, and as you can see, we did not get that. Today was not in my favor. Honestly, price action today, as y'all can see, is really just a bunch of sideways movement. We're not really going anywhere. So you control what you can, and that is what you risk every day. That is how you manage and your emotions and all that to an extent. And I think that I did manage today decently well. I think the only thing I could have improved on was just my risk on the second trade. I did take the second trade with full size. After I pyramided in, I did have a lot of confidence in it. But usually what I like to do is, after I take a loss, I will usually downsize. The reason I didn't on this one was just the confidence behind it. I felt very good about it, which at the same time does come with intuition. It comes with, time in the markets. And this did look like a good setup in hindsight. Looking at it now, I don't think that it was a bad trade by any means. We had the SMT. had the accumulation, manipulation, wanted to see distribution to these lows. Then we also have, London low all the way down here. I wanted to see externally, I wanted to see us come lower just based off the fact that we are, in this higher time frame imbalance. Wanted to potentially see these relative equal lows at London. We didn't get it. We had the 5-minute change in the state. I was very, I felt good about it. 5-minute change in the state, 5-minute inversion. Felt good, but didn't pan out today. I think over, an extended period of time, this trade will work more than it won't. If I'm being honest, I think that today really is just, I think we have CPI tomorrow. Today is just probably prepping for that. Trump speaks later as well. Yeah, we have CPI tomorrow, PPI on Thursday, unemployment, consumer sentiment on Friday. So yeah, it's really just the day not in our favor, as y'all can see. Really just chop. I wouldn't even touch the rest of the day. I didn't want to take 2 trades. Max personal daily loss limit is hit. Gonna look to come back tomorrow, much better. Taking, the trades that we're confident in. I'm really not mad at today though. In hindsight, these aren't bad trades. I've taken trades like this and I've won, hundreds of times. This isn't anything that I don't think I necessarily did wrong. And at the time that I did take them, market was, I wouldn't even say that we were, in that area to where we were chopping. Like, we started chopping right here. Once we came up, we got this, long right here, this 1 minute, which wasn't a bad long either. If I had the capital, I probably would have taken this one. What would the risk reward have been? Actually, I probably wouldn't have. It's a negative risk reward, but it's not a bad trade. I wouldn't say that it was. I think that, just after that, we started chopping, and the market hasn't been as efficient. Not that I'm blaming the market. I really don't think that there's nothing to point the blame on today. Just only thing that I would probably say differently is just being more aware when I am, pyramiding and understanding how much risk I have on the table, figuring out the times in which I should trade. I know that I have been telling myself that I'm not going to trade the first 5 minutes of open. I did today, just based off the simple fact that we did have very high quality setups, but I think just going forward, no matter how good the setup looks, I'm not even going to touch, the first 5 to 10 minutes of market open, really just to let the market understand what it wants to do. Because if I were to not have touched, the first 5 to 10 minutes, I would have still taken a loss, because we did have an A plus, model right here, an A plus 2 minute that still failed. This short right here, we swept buy side, closed beneath, stop at the high, targeting all this resting lows. I would have taken this if I hadn't taken these first few trades and say I did wait for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the open. This isn't a bad setup. Right before the macro opens up, really just it failed. Like, good setups aren't working today. This is why you need to manage your risk properly. You need to understand when to be risk on versus risk off. And they say for the summer months you are supposed to, take the low hanging fruit. Don't leave too many runners. Take what you can, and be selective with your trades, because summer months aren't the best for, ICT traders is what they say. So yeah, not really mad at it. Just an inefficient day. Just going forward, I'm gonna probably just start to wait a little bit more for, just the higher time frame confirmations. Wait for, the certain time period within the market. Wait for just full buy. Like even today, right? You did see we technically didn't close beneath the 2 minute, but I kind of ignored it because the 5 minute, the higher time frame usually does hold more weight. We closed beneath this 5 minute, then we closed beneath this one. Higher time frame usually does hold more weight, to where I can disregard that. But what I did fail to recognize was this 15 minute right here that we had failed to close beneath. It happens, it's part of the game. But yeah, not entirely mad at it. I think that just a tragic day today. Well, I'll just say that. But you just gotta live, you learn with them. Got to roll with the punches and think longevity, think long term, and that's what we're here for. So that's what we're gonna continue to do. I think now that I'm looking at the 15 minute though, I definitely probably should have been more aware of this, specifically just because that does play a role in these trades, and very similar to yesterday actually, where I failed to identify the 15 minute We did have a 15-minute imbalance yesterday that was in opposed to my draw liquidity that I wanted to see, that I was trading against. Expecting it to get ran, and it didn't. So maybe going forward, just waiting for these 15-minute candles, waiting for as much confirmation as possible. And even if we did get that close below and say price already swept the draw liquidity, then that just means no trade. And it's always better to not take a trade than take a trade. So definitely gonna note that going forward, being more aware. I thought the 5-minute close would be enough. Clearly it wasn't, but you know what happens. So hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope y'all could learn something, and I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace out.